Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem, a postmortem of my Blitz game number 410. My opponent kicked off with e4 and I decided to play the French defense. I haven't played that in a while. So we get d4, d5, we get the advanced variation of the French defense. So you see e5 is the third most popular choice here after the two knight moves, knight c3, which is the classical or the Rubinstein, classical or the Winauer variation, and knight d2 is the Tarrasch variation, and then the fourth choice here, taking, is the exchange variation. So e5, the advanced variation, is it's a reasonable opening, but it's a little bit tricky to play. The center comes under attack surprisingly quickly, and the black player has kind of an easy strategy. So he's just going to go after the center and require some care to hold on to those pawns and prove that you can maintain this big center as white. So these simple moves, just c5 attacking and knight c6 attacking, knight f3, these are all the main moves. And now I play something a bit out of the ordinary. I guess the best follow-up here is queen b6 or bishop to d7. Okay, bishop d7 is not a move I really considered, but that's an interesting way to play. And in the French defense, the black player often has trouble with this bishop, so here he's getting on, developing it right away. Maybe the knight's going to move and then the bishop can come to c6. I'm not entirely sure what the bishop d7 idea is, but I have played queen b6 before. Anyway, I just went ahead and took here, and as you'll see, well, we're out of the opening book. Pretty much, he takes back, and but I play in a reasonable way, and you'll see I get pretty much equality out of this. He goes bishop g5, pinning this knight. I was going to bring the knight here to bring more pressure to this pawn, and then the queen here. So you get three pieces on it pretty quickly. So since he pinned the knight, I moved the queen out, and then he played b3 because there was an attack on that pawn. And now this knight is unpinned, so he can hop into f5. I play that, and already the chess engine is starting to like black's position quite a lot. Let's see, was that b3 move a mistake? Is that the... Yeah, because I only have a slight edge here, queen b6, b3. So b3 was the mistake. He should play something like knight c3 and sort of dare me to take that pawn. Yeah, that's a typical kind of response, knight c3. Is it even safe to take that pawn? Probably not. Probably not. Let's see. Can be attacked with the rook or the knight. Knight to b5 is the move. Yeah, this is an interesting way to play it. The knight is supported there by the bishop, and it blocks the queen's retreat. And now the rook can come over and harass the queen. It looks like white is getting a good game there. So that's just a little tip for you players. If you're playing the white side of the French defense, watch out for those tactics. You don't really need to defend this pawn. And when you play a move like b3, you've wasted a tempo, and now black has the edge. So I play reasonably well for a few moves. Knight out. Goes bishop back to e3. And now I really shouldn't take the bishop. I just wasn't sure what else to play at this point. But the thing is, this bishop... it's just blocked in by its own pawns. It's not such a great piece, and there's no hurry to exchange it off. So if I come out with bishop b4 check first, and then bishop to c3, bishop b4 check, and bishop to d7. Okay, that's the idea. And then bishop to c3. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Getting the bishop to this square, that's kind of interesting. Okay, so leaving the knights in place and developing the bishops, also castling, is a good idea here. Anyway, so this move is not precise. It still leaves me with an advantage, but not the best way to play. I did spot this bishop b4 check idea, and he blocks with the knight. Keeps him a little bit tied up here, though, this pin. And now I just castle, and he plays bishop to d3. So I still have the edge. I guess castling was not the best move there. Bishop to a3. Interesting. I don't know what bishop a3 does. That's this move here. Maybe it's threatening actually to come into b2 and harass the rook. Funny moves the chess engine is coming up with. And bishop c3. and also f6 immediately. f6 is a move I understand, although I usually like to castle before I play f6, so the rook is already on this file, but it looks like f6 can be played immediately here. And of course that is one of the main ideas of the French, just to undermine the center. Yeah, after f6 you have to take back with a pawn in this case, so that's why I don't particularly like that, because then the pawn cover is destroyed around the king. You have to play pretty carefully after that. Okay, so knight bd2, I castled here, and my opponent played bishop d3. So this is a very interesting point here, and I did not, in this position, think about the Greek gift sacrifice, which my opponent plays on the next move. I really didn't consider it at all, but I should have. So there's this configuration here. First of all, notice these three pieces, the queen, the bishop, and the knight. So the bishop is pointing at the h7 square. The knight is poised to come into g5 with a check to h7. And after the knight moves out of the way, the queen is poised to come in to either g4 or h5 and continue the attack. So let's erase those lines. So that's on the white side, if you're going to play, or the side that's playing the Greek gift. It's these three pieces that are key to, and of course you have to evaluate it. It's just, this is what makes it possible. You have these three pieces in this particular configuration, and on the black side, what the weaknesses are, that h7 is not defended by a piece. There's no knight on f6 here defending the pawn, and the pawn hasn't moved forward. So those are the 2 points on the black side. So whenever you have all these conditions, that h7 undefended, and white's pawn on h7, no defender, and white's 3 pieces in this configuration. You should always stop whenever this configuration occurs and calculate the Greek gift sacrifice and see if it's working. Now in this case it doesn't work, but I should have calculated it, so that's the criticism. So he played here, and you can see already I'm winning just by taking. So I take. So far so good. What I didn't appreciate it after here, he played here. He takes f6. Rook takes f6. I thought this was pretty good because the rook can always come over to h6 to defend against the queen check when the queen comes to h5 to give the check. So I thought this was just completely unsound on the face of it. But what I failed to appreciate is that the rook, when the rook lifted up here to f6, it left the back rank undefended. I do have a back rank problem because my bishop is still on c8, and so it's not so simple to refute this. Okay, so now he goes with knight g5 check. He just threw in that little exchange first, but now he continues with a typical Greek gift. And now I could continue with king to g6. This is sometimes a way to refute it. You bring your king forward. Seems like a funny way to play, but the idea is you control this square so the queen can't easily get out and get in, and deliver the attack. And if the queen comes here, let's see, if the queen comes to this square, which is the other alternative, in this case you have e5 with the bishop hitting the queen. So not going to be any simple rest here. If the queen drops back here, that's interesting. Yeah, it allows the discovery just by playing e takes d4. Knight takes d4. Queen a6. Funny kind of moves. Queen, bishop takes d2 check. Yeah, suppose I just pushed on with the pawn. Is this bad? Knight g takes e4. Yeah, that's going to be bad. So taking, e takes d4. Yeah, so it's not so simple to play once you're king. The engine is assuring you you're fine, but it's not so simple to play once your king is exposed out here. But I guess in this position, knight g, e4 check. He doesn't have any great discoveries. Drop back to f7. You can win the knight here. But you have this move d takes e3. Okay, so it's maintaining this threats. So it's the idea of the counterattacks that saves you in this particular position. Okay, we'll see a similar thing in the game. Anyway, I did not think, as I said, this sacrifice was working at all, so I just went back to g8, which is the normal response. And in fact, it's still not working. But after queen h5, you have to play carefully to find the correct defense. And I started out, okay, I realized, well, I can take here, and then I have a queen check, and this will allow me to maneuver my queen back over to defend the back rank, and that should help things a little bit. But then I started worrying, is it really, is the queen really doing any good? So, for example, if I had played the check here, which is actually the best move, as you see the engine showing, the king goes to d1, it says. I'll put the king anywhere. And then my idea was to play back here, but this, of course, leads to mate in 1, right? So I can't just use that check to get my queen back. So I thought, well, I probably need to bring my queen back right away. But here, let's look at the correct line, the best way to refute this. So queen b4 check, I should have played that. And after the king goes to d1, say, then rook to f2. Rook to f2. So not worrying so much about this is why computers are so good at chess. This is really a hard way to play, but I guess the counterattack is stronger than the attack. So if he comes in here with the check, you start running. That's the only move. The queen can come back here and threaten mate, but you have a mate of your own. So that's not a safe way to play. He has to play something like knight back to f3 to defend against the mate. And then his attack is kind of petered out, and you can just develop here. So bishop d7. What happens if he gives a check on the back rank? King f7. Grab the rook. And now there's a mate in 4 with a queen c3. Okay, pretty interesting combination there. The other thing I thought was interesting is the king goes to a different square, like e2. Is that the variation I was looking at? Queen b5 check. Yeah, something like this. And the king keeps running away. Then you have queen to d3. If you can get access to this square, this is another idea that you can actually defend. The rook is defending here. And the queen is defending there, and if his queen comes down to this square, this doesn't work because now the rook can come back and defend. So anyway, all of that would have been the best way to play. So at this point, I just didn't calculate far enough with this queen b4 check idea. So well, I have to admit that's kind of difficult to see. So I decided I really need to get my queen back here and try and hold on to things on the back rank. But now after that, white is just winning. So his gamble paid off. I was a little bit annoyed at this point because, well, actually when he played the sacrifice, he played it instantly. So obviously he hadn't calculated anything at all. He just played it by reflex almost. And so that's not really playing chess. That's more like gambling. But still, I have an obligation to find the right way to refute it. And I didn't do that. Okay, so he comes in with queen h7 check, and he does a pretty good job of prosecuting the attack here, although apparently the best move here and the way to keep the winning edge is to play rook a to f1. Look at that. It's the only move in this position to actually win, if with best play, of course. Otherwise, I have drawing ideas. Rook a to f1. Another kind of computer move, but this one makes sense. You want to bring new pieces into the attack. But it's not immediately obvious why you're holding off on this move, queen h7 check. So he played this, went to f8. We'll see at what point I lose the draw. So he goes queen h8, go king e7. He takes the queen. Cancel that. Oh, he took on g7. He didn't take the queen. And I went king to d6. So I needed to just drop my king back to e8. And that's a draw. King d6 is still a draw too. Okay. And he comes in with e4. This is a very uncomfortable position. Although apparently queen a5 check. Okay, so I missed this other idea here. He has left himself open for a check, and I can now go for some counterplay. Or I can play e5. It's tough to switch from offense to defense like that. I'm still just trying to figure out how to survive this attack. I played queen e7, and then he has e5 check. And after this, it really is lost. So that's funny. It went from drawing, so he played a drawing line, and then I played, and then he made a mistake, which allows me to win, but I didn't. I defended incorrectly and allowed him to win instead. Okay, so I missed this e5 check idea. That hits the king, I can sacrifice the knight here, but the problem is when the king takes, then I've just dropped the queen there. And so that's game over. I resigned here. Pretty cute game, lots of tactics, and keep that in mind about the Greek gift. When you see those configurations, you always pause for a second to calculate that sacrifice and see if it's working. For either side, I mean, you might be the side that's attacking. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, before I finish this video, I wanted to mention that I'm going to be away, taking a short trip, so I'll be away for a few days. But I'll be back soon with more videos. See you then. Bye.